morning students. Sairam, this is Megha Miss here, and today we will continue with our lesson number 4, that is measurement of matter. Now we started with the lesson. If you remember, I'll just do a quick recap. We studied about water compounds. Next we studied the Dalton's theory. We saw the Dalton's theory. Okay, then we saw about the what were the law of conservation of the matter, law of constant proportion. We saw the Dalton's atomic theory, right? Now we are going to continue with this lesson, and now we are going to see about the atoms. Okay students, now starting with, first we are going to study about the atomic size. In the atoms, first part we are going to do, that is about its size. The size of an atom is determined by its radius. Okay, so indirectly size is connected with the radius, I can say. Okay, the atomic radius of an isolated atom, means a separate atom, is the distance between the nucleus of an atom and its outermost orbit. Okay, so how you are going to measure the radius? Then how you are going to do that? You will take the nucleus. The distance between the nucleus and the outermost orbit will be the radius of that atom. Atomic radius is expressed in nanometers. Okay, small term, that is smallest unit, that is nanometers. So 1 meter is equal to 109 nanometers. See how much small it is. Okay, atoms are very tiny. This you have studied. Modern instruments like electron microscope, filled ion microscope, scanning, tunneling microscope enlarged images of an atom. What it does, it enlarge all these microscopes which are used, they enlarge the pictures of the atoms, and hence the study of the atoms becomes easier. Okay students, now the atomic size depends on the number of electron orbits in an atom. This we studied. Yes, all the atoms do not have only one electronic orbit, they have many electronic orbits. You have studied in 8th standard, right? K, L, M, N. You remember? We named the orbits as K, L, M, N, right? The greater the number of orbits, the larger is the size. Of course, if number of the orbits are more, the size of the atom is going to be bigger. For example, an atom of potassium is bigger than an atom of sodium. Okay, sodium, you know, it has got, what is the atomic number we take of sodium? Yes, and what we do, we draw the number of shells, right? Now for sodium, you know how we do it, you remember? It is 2, 8 and 1, so 11. So first orbit you will draw 2 electrons, second orbit 8 electrons you used to draw, and last orbit 1 electron, right? So 3 electrons, while in potassium there are more number of orbits. Okay, hence the atomic size, the atom of K is bigger than that of sodium. Okay students, if two atoms have the same outermost orbit, then the atom having the larger number of electrons in the outermost orbit is smaller than the one having fewer electrons in the same outermost orbit. Now you will say, Miss, if two atoms have the same the number of orbits, yes, so what you will say, Miss, now both of them have same number of electronic shells, so what to do? Then what you will see? You will see the number of electrons in the last shell. How many electrons are there? If there are larger number of electrons in the outermost orbit, then that atom is the smallest. And the atom which has less electrons in the outermost orbit, that atom is the biggest. Okay students, now approximate size of an atom and a molecule. Now atomic radius in meters it is given. We are seeing hemoglobin molecule here and water molecule, and one hydrogen atom we are seeing. Okay, so what are their atomic radius? It is in meters, okay, not in nanometers. So 10 raised to minus 10, see, that is for hydrogen atom. 10 raised to minus 9, that is for water molecule. And 10 raised to minus 8, that is for hemoglobin molecule. So I hope you saw different atoms, different molecules, they have different atomic sizes depending upon their electronic shells and the number of electrons which are present in their last shell. Okay students, now next we are going to study the mass of an atom. Now size we have seen, the size depends upon the radius we have seen. Okay, now we are going to study about the mass of an atom. The mass of an atom is concentrated in its nucleus and it is due to protons and neutrons present in it. Okay, so because of whom is the mass of an atom? Because of this nucleus. And what this nucleus contains? Nucleus contains protons, that are the positive charges, and neutrons which do not have any charge, right? The total number, that is of protons and neutrons in the atomic nucleus, is called the atomic mass number. What you will call it as, students? Atomic mass number. The total number of protons and neutrons in the nucleus of an atom together forms the atomic mass number. Protons and neutrons are together called as nucleons. What we call them as? Nucleons. So the protons and neutrons are together called as nucleons. Okay. Now, it was not possible for scientists of the 19th century to measure atomic mass accurately. It was not possible. Okay. They couldn't do it. So what they do? Therefore, the concept of relative mass of an atom was put forth. Means some reference was needed, so that using that reference I could calculate the atomic mass of different elements. A reference atom was required for expressing the relative mass of an atom. Okay. Now which element was considered as this reference, we will see. Okay. The hydrogen atom being the lightest, as it is the lightest one, first one in the periodic table, where it has only got one electron, was initially chosen as the reference atom. Okay, because it has only one electron, it was considered. Okay, the relative mass of hydrogen atom, which has only one proton in its nucleus, was accepted as 1. So what is the relative mass of hydrogen? 1. Mass of hydrogen will be 1. Why? Because it has got only one proton and one electron, right? Therefore, the magnitude of the relative atomic masses of various atoms became equal to their atomic mass number, that is P plus N. Okay, so here you know hydrogen only 1. Okay, and taking it as the reference, they started calculating magnitude, means value for the atomic masses of different elements using the atomic mass number, that is P plus N. Okay students, now the mass of one nitrogen atom is 14. Okay, for one nitrogen atom mass is 14 times that of hydrogen atom, because hydrogen is 1. So 14 times hydrogen atom. Therefore, the relative mass of nitrogen atom is 14. This is how the relative atomic masses of various elements were determined. Okay. So considering hydrogen, atomic masses of different elements were discovered. Okay. On this scale, the relative atomic masses of many elements came out to be fractional. Now some of the elements, when we compared the atomic masses, we saw that the answer was coming in fraction. So now atomic mass cannot be a fraction, right? It should be a whole number. So what we did? Therefore, in the course of time, some other atom were chosen as the reference atom. Okay. Now after this, oxygen was also used. It is not given in your text, but you remember oxygen was also taken as a reference atom. But oxygen also, when it was chosen, it cannot give accurate answers for the atomic masses. So after hydrogen, oxygen was tried to use. Oxygen could not give the answer. So now who is taken, we will see, okay, as a reference. Okay. So finally, in 1961, the carbon atom was selected as the reference atom. Okay, which atom we considered now? Carbon. In this scale, the relative mass of carbon atom was accepted as 12. Okay, what we have considered atomic mass, relative atomic mass of the carbon atom as 12. The relative atomic mass of one hydrogen atom compared to the carbon atom. If I want to calculate now the mass of hydrogen, what I have to do? I have to do the calculation 12 multiplied by 1/12. So 12 got cancelled, I got 1. Okay, here can you see? This is my 12 what I took, multiply by 1 upon 12. Then only I get the answer 1. That is equal to the atomic mass of hydrogen. Right? So like this I could compare all the atomic masses of different elements with the carbon atom. Okay? Relative mass of carbon. Okay? Okay. The mass of one proton and of one neutron on the scale of the relative atomic masses is approximately 1. So what I have to approximately the mass of one proton and one neutron on this scale came to be 1. Okay, approximate value when I calculated in this way I got the answer 1. Okay students, did you understand? Okay, now I hope till what we have done you have understood that. Okay, we have got an idea. Okay, you all have got an idea. Along with you I am also stuck. Okay, so I hope atomic size you have understood, atomic mass also. Atomic size, remember, related to radius. Okay, radius is important there. Radius, how you are going to calculate? Nucleus, distance between the nucleus and the outermost orbit. Okay, now if the outermost orbit are same in two of the atoms, then what we will consider? Number of electrons, right? Then what we saw? Mass. Mass depends upon the number of protons and neutrons inside the nucleus of an atom. Okay students, first what was considered as the standard to calculate the atomic masses? Hydrogen. But we saw that some of the elements got an answers in fraction. Then I gave you one new information that after hydrogen oxygen was used. It is not given in your text, but oxygen was used. Oxygen also same problem started occurring. It could not give accurately the values for the atomic masses. So then we came upon carbon, and carbon 12, it could give the atomic masses of different elements as a whole number. Okay, we didn't want the answer in fraction. Mass cannot be in a fraction. Okay students, I hope you understood till here. Okay, now leaving this also, a highly accurate method is used. Now what is this highly accurate method? Now carbon is also sometimes only used, but now this is used in most of the cases to calculate the atomic mass. Today we have highly accurate method. Now this method is important. Okay, today we have highly accurate methods for measuring the mass of an atom directly. Directly you can calculate. No need of comparing it with hydrogen, no need of comparing it with oxygen, nor with the carbon. Okay, hence instead of relative mass, unified mass. Relative mass we are not taking only now. What we are taking now? Unified. Unified means it can be used all over. Has now been accepted as the unit of atomic mass. Okay student, it is called as Dalton. What you call this unit as? Dalton. We use it. Okay, its symbol is U, and 1 U is equal to 1.660539004 multiplied by 10 raised to minus 27 kg. So if an atom, if I say its mass is 1 U, means how much kg it is? It is this much kg. Okay students. Okay, like this, if the U value goes on increasing, we have to multiply to get the answers in kg with this value what is given. Are you getting it? Did you understand? Now we are not using carbon also. What we are using? Unified mass is accepted now as the unit of the atomic mass. We called it as Dalton. Its symbol is small u, not a capital U. Then it is wrong. Okay. So 1 U value is this much. Okay, that is 1.660539004. 3904 into 10 raised to minus 27 kgs. Okay students, now we will do the next topic. Here we have completed with the atomic mass and atomic size. Now we are going to do chemical symbol of the elements. Okay, now you all know there is a periodic table, you have seen it, elements are arranged in that. Now when you saw that table, you have seen that in the boxes whole name of the elements is not written, symbols is written. Okay, so what are these symbols, we will see. Dalton used certain signs to represent elements. Okay, for example, you have seen this circle, inside that C is written. For copper, like this he used to use the symbols. Today we use the symbols determined by IUPAC. Okay, that is International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. Okay, so before we used to use the symbols like this. Okay, now we are using the symbols which are given by IUPAC. Okay, these are official names and symbols that are used all over the world. Anywhere you travel in the world, you study applied chemistry, you go abroad and study, same faculty you take chemistry, you are going to get all the symbols and the names which are given by IUPAC. Okay, it is a standard. Okay students, now the current method of choosing chemical symbol is based on the method invented by Berzelius. So he is the scientist who gave the method to give the chemical symbols to the elements. According to this method, the symbol of an element is either the first letter, you will have it as the first letter, or the first and the second, another specific letter in its name. Okay, means whatever will be the name of the element, we will take the first letter as its symbol, or we will take first two letters as its symbol. First two, it should be first and the second letter. Okay, of the two letters, the first is written as a capital letter and second is written as small. Very important. If only one letter is there of the element, then what you will write in capital. More important that it should be a capital letter. If by mistakenly in hurry you write it in small letter, your element name is wrong. And if we are considering two letter name, then the first letter should be capital and second letter should be small. Okay students, now these are the elements. You can see here many symbols are there. This was the ancient time when these symbols were used for the elements. So see, you can see this different symbols are there. Hydrogen, a circle with a dot. Okay, azote, you can see here, I'll just mark for you. See, hydrogen, you can see azote. Azote is the liquid nitrogen. It was before called as azote. Okay, azote. Then you can see carbon is there, you can see a circle, darken one. Oxygen, you can see only a circle is there. Phosphorus you see, sulfur you can see, magnesia is magnesium. Okay, lime, soda, potash. Okay, then you can see here strontian, which we called it as strontium now. Okay, so strontian is there. Then iron, zinc, copper, lead, silver, gold, platina, mercury. Okay, all this you can see they have got the different symbols. Yes, these symbols were used previously. Okay, but now we don't use this. Now what we are using? We are using the letters, right? First letter, and in some of the elements we are using first and the second letter. So we will see here. Can you see an example? Iodine. Can you see iodine? What we write for iodine? Capital I. Okay. Manganese. What we write? Capital M and small letter N. Can you see it here? See, this is our I. Okay. Then here you can see we are writing Mn. M is a capital letter and N is a small letter. Second letter should be the small. He. Can you see? Now why we have taken it as He? If I write only H for helium, then you know for hydrogen also we write H as the symbol, right? So it will get confused. So we are using the second letter. Here we are using that is E from the helium. Okay students. Then what you have? Carbon, that is C. Okay. Now see here, more examples I have given. Cm, that is curium. Okay, we write it as, why we have not written here only C? Because now you know for carbon what we have seen previously, C. So both, if I write CC, will it get confused which element it is, right? So here you can see, for this I have written as Cm. Okay, M is the small letter, C is the capital letter. Okay, now phosphorus. Phosphorus I have written as P. Okay, now you know potassium is also there. Potassium, do we write P? No, we write it as K. Okay, so here some of the elements, they have got the symbols depending upon their names, which are different. Okay, so here potassium, you know, we are writing it as K. Latin names. Okay, from their Latin names they have got the symbols. Okay students, then next nitrogen, you can see here we write it as N. Okay, and yttrium we write it as Y. These are all the elements which are present in the periodic table. Okay students, some of the elements, they have got their names from their Latin names. Okay, as the Latin names are standardly used, they have got the symbols, the letters which are in their Latin names. Okay students, did you understand this? Like gold, silver, they have also got their symbols from their Latin names. Did you understand this? I hope till here what we have done you have understood. Okay, symbols you have understood. Okay, now so today we studied about, we have come to end of our presentation. What we have studied, we'll just revise. Atomic size you saw, depending upon the nucleus. Then we saw the mass of an atom. Again, it is depending upon the nucleus, but inside the nucleus the number of protons and the neutrons. While the atomic size, it is depending upon the nucleus and the outermost orbit, the distance between them, right? Then we saw about the chemical symbols of the elements, how the elements are given their symbols depending upon their name, starting letter, or the first letter and the second letter. First letter should be capital, second letter will be small letter. Okay students, so I hope what we have done today you have understood. You will go through everything properly, open the textbook, see the periodic table. You can see the periodic table also on the Google. If you type, you will get the periodic table, and see properly how the different elements have got the different symbols. Okay students, so for today I'll stop it here. Thank you. Sai Ram.